This review was brought to you by Altoids. Altoids, for when you need quick product placement in your dinosaur movie. So I just saw Jurassic World Rebirth, a soft reboot of the series after the critical disaster of Jurassic World Dominion and the 7th official Jurassic Park movie from a franchise that started over 30 years ago. And from the get-go, the movie makes it abundantly clear it wants to stay as far away from the events of the last trilogy as much as possible. How, you may ask? By repeating about 4 times in the first 15 minutes of the movie that all the dinosaurs who tried to integrate with humanity all died, whether it be by disease or an unsuitable environment, and the only dinosaurs that do exist out in the wild are near the equator where the climate is warmer and the environment is richer in oxygen. Like, no kidding, they repeat it 4 times to make sure the audience gets that there are no more dinosaurs out in the human population. They're all gone. Once from a quick exposition dump from on-screen text, then it's repeated by Scarlett Johansson's character, then by a quick blurb from a TV playing, and finally by the dinosaur expert. They also make a meta-commentary about the Jurassic Park franchise by having the in-universe general public be more annoyed and basically done with dinosaurs as a constant aspect in their everyday lives instead of being fascinated by them, just like how the audience reacted to Jurassic World Dominion. As for the main story, Scarlett Johansson's character, the generic special forces mercenary with the heart of gold, is hard to embark on the equivalent of an actual Dungeons & Dragons quest where the main characters must retrieve blood samples from the 3 largest dinosaurs in the world. One from the sea, one from the land, and one from the air, and the blood must also be extracted while the dinosaurs are still alive in order to cure heart disease, because apparently they're really big, so that makes their heart really strong or whatever. You know, the usual life finds a way logic we expect out of this franchise. Orlando Bloom also plays the evil businessman who betrays everyone and eventually gets what's coming to him, and we also get the generic family who ends up on the island and has to survive by working together and end up being closer for it as our B-plot. Now, the movie itself, though, is actually quite serviceable. I was satisfied with how much dinosaur action we got in the movie and how they interact with the human characters, even if it plays a lot into the nostalgia of the first Jurassic Park movie. Like, we have scenes that are almost one-to-one recreations of the "they do move in herds" scene, the child cowering in fear as the T-Rex is above them scene, and the hiding in an enclosed space while avoiding a smaller stalker dinosaur scene. And the action once again primarily takes place on a forested island, going back to the franchise's roots. My favorite part, however, was when the T-Rex showed up and it went from a tense scene of having to avoid the big dino to instead turning comedic when it became the slowest chase scene ever, where once again a woman running in heels or a family slowly paddling away can evade a big dinosaur like the T-Rex. All in all, it was honestly pretty hilarious. And for the negative parts themselves, they mostly revolve around how the story is structured itself, because the screen time is split between Scarlett Johansson and her mercenary group on their quest to get one last bag, and the generic family just trying to survive the threat of getting eaten by dinosaurs. By having the screen time split, neither group feels as really developed as they should be, and feel more like a checklist to get as many people in theaters as possible. They have the generic mercenary group looking to make one last big haul before retirement to keep people invested in the action, while also having the generic family unit for family members to root for and identify with. Instead, they should have just focused on one group and fleshed it out more by having either just the group of elite mercenaries getting humbled by the dinosaurs as they slowly realize they're not the top dog anymore according to nature, or just having the generic family trying to survive the dinosaur island situation from an average person's perspective. There's also this weird subplot involving the younger sister of the group where she forms a bond with a baby dino by giving it licorice and carries it throughout the entire movie's runtime, and I kept expecting some sort of payoff like the generic family is backed into a corner and out of nowhere the mom shows up to save the day and the baby dino leaves to reunite with her, but no, that just doesn't happen, and by the end of the movie she gets to keep the baby dino, and I'm just like, okay, I guess, free baby dino. Another jarring part about this movie is that the tone is often split between scenes. Like, in one scene a merc gets torn apart by a dinosaur, and in the next the comic relief character cracks MCU-style jokes about their situation. It just doesn't really feel like these scenes belong together in the same movie. Now we're in spoiler territory, so spoilers ahead in order to address the elephant in the room, or I guess I should say the discount rancor in the room. And of course, it involves the film's climax. During the marketing campaign of this movie, they tease a big mutant dinosaur, and to be fair, it is introduced at the beginning of this movie in quite a brutal fashion as it eats an unlucky scientist after a containment malfunction brought to you by Snickers. Man, you'd think they'd figure out how to have better safety measures after every single disaster, but hey, can't have a movie about dinosaurs eating people if there's no people to eat. Anyway, based on how they marketed the film, the audience is led to believe the Big Mutie would play a more active role in the overall narrative, but no, in fact the big mutant dino hardly shows up at all. I think in the entire movie's runtime, it's actually the least dangerous threat to the humans and only shows up for a total of 3 minutes. It doesn't actively pursue either group on the island during their adventures, and that's because Big Muty is actually just chilling near the facility where it was created, and what makes it even less of a threat is the fact that it's super slow and is attracted to light. It is in fact so slow that a man on foot carrying a flare can actually evade and escape this thing. And for the big finale where it shows up, it only fulfills the prophecy of whenever a helicopter shows up in a movie, you just know it's going to crash, and of course eats Orlando Bloom's evil businessman character. Even then, the helicopter crash really only delays our group of survivors by like 10 minutes, as they easily find a functional boat in the next scene, even though this island has been abandoned for years. They don't even defeat the Big Muty by blowing it up or having other dinosaurs fight it, like they just escape in the boat, it yells really loud, and then just goes back to big chilling near the facility, I guess. On the whole, it begs the question of why have this thing at all if it does basically nothing for 98% of the movie's runtime, and why have it be a mutant if the role could have just as easily been fulfilled by any number of other predator dinosaurs. Oh wait, they did answer this at least in one of the reboot movies.
You didn't ask for reality, you asked for more teeth.
I never asked for a monster.
Monster is a relative term. To a canary, a cat is a monster. We're just used to being the cat.
In short, Jurassic World Rebirth is definitely not the worst Jurassic Park movie by a long shot, but also just stretches itself far too thin narrative-wise and relies too much on nostalgia to really make it a good enough reboot. And I'm just gonna say it, no more mutants. I 100% believe that we do not need any more mutant hybrids and to just keep it to dinosaurs as they're cool enough on their own, and yes, the effects and detailing were good enough on close-up shots. Hopefully, the executives will see the criticisms and improve future installations, and who am I kidding, this thing's gonna make like $1 billion anyway, and we're just going to get more of the same of what was in this movie. Alright, with everything here wrapped up, Jurassic World Rebirth gets a 4 out of 10. Not the worst Jurassic Park movie, but also just not good. There was also no Triceratops as far as I could tell, so definitely not my favorite. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like and subscribe for more videos like this in the future, and I will see you all next time.